We definitely need to get some village input on what we're working on, and we're glad you're able to join us this morning. I am very excited about the group that we've got. As I said in the email that I sent out, we're considering StarRez as a replacement for one site. And because StarRez is already being used in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, and they like it, it is our primary candidate. Thomas from the UK, of course, is with us. He already works with StarRez on a daily basis, and he's going to show us how some of the processes work. Just hopefully be able to walk us through the life of the lease, depending on the time that we got with him, the time that we have with him today. I'm talking, when I say life of the lease, I mean like from the moment a prospect comes in and contacts us until they move out. So we just want to see what StarRez can do as far as user friendliness and ease of transactions, etc. You can see everyone who is on the call with us. We have the U.S. IT team, as well as all of our village representatives. And again, thank you for joining us. We do want to get your feedback and questions. Please understand that we only have a short time with Thomas today, and we do want to be able to see everything that he has prepared to show us. Please make notes of any questions that you have along the way. If we have time, we will address any questions at the end of our call. But I definitely want you to email all your questions or discussion topics to me by the end of this week, so that we can compile those questions and discussion topics. And that's really all I have to say to start. Oscar or Thomas, if you want to say anything else in preparation, certainly, they're all yours.
I'm good to go. Oscar, do you want to?
I just want to mention real quick that I am recording this session, and so keep in mind that everything you say will be recorded. And also, you can put your phone on mute during Thomas's presentation, and definitely unmute whenever you have a question. That's about it.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, I'd firstly just like to thank everybody for getting together and listening to me. It's an impressive turnout, so thank you. As Kay has already mentioned, if you've got detailed questions, make a note and send them through, because we can definitely address those and get back to you pretty quickly. But it is a fairly open session, so whilst I've got an agenda that Gay would really like me to see me run through, I will gladly answer any questions I think I can answer on the spot and show you features that we may not have got in this list if it's something of interest to see on the screen. Just slightly out of order from what Gay's requested, I think maybe going through the online leasing is the most important thing we could start with. The reason being is online leasing is probably one of StarRez's strongest points, and it's also where we attempt to get all of our applicants to go. There are plenty of ways that we can handle people that won't go online and turn up. However, it's definitely the starting point for the whole process. So if I just load up a browser, and if anybody hasn't got my desktop on screen, just yell now and we can wait a few seconds and try and resolve that. No? Okay. So this is our application process. Users go onto this website from the Village commercial site, so linked through, and they can register here, filling out the general details that you might expect. Something that's quite important in StarRez is the fact that what you see here is not necessarily what you get if you are in the US market, for instance. So whereas we've asked these questions to the student, you could ask completely different questions, you could capture completely different information, whatever's relevant to the market that happen to be working in. So keep an open mind. If this process, you can think of reasons why it doesn't fit your particular village, because we know the US will have very specific requirements, and I'm confident, there's an ongoing review process, but I'm confident that this product suits the US market. So if I just pretend I've registered, I'm going to log in with an account that I've already got. So I filled this out already. I've been sent an email with my login details, but I've got a test account and I'm going to use that now. So I've logged in. It gives me a bit of information. Again, this is all customized text that we've chosen to write. You could write anything that suited the US online application process. I'm going to click into an application. I choose which contract I would like out of the ones that are currently available at the moment. Go for a 42-week in our Bedfordshire village. get a little introduction, and immediately I'm asked to confirm that my personal details are correct. This is so that our returning students have a chance to update their contact details without us having to fill out any paperwork and updating the system manually. I can continue past that because I know it's correct. And we have a chance for the student immediately to give us an idea of the rooms they're looking for. At this point, they're not committing to anything. They're just giving us a heads up of what they're likely to want. I will select some. They only see a list of rooms for the actual village they're applying. We have other villages here, and they would see a different list of this. It's not going to show them a list of all the rooms wherever. So it's very specific to the user to make sure they're not confused by conflicting information. Pick some preferences, and we've got a room profile. So again, it's asking for a bit more information on their likely choice of room. They can say whether they're likely to want a quiet floor or not, whether they're looking for single sex or co-ed, and their study status. And I'll go through a bit later on in why that's an important question, but it is. I'll select first year undergrad for now. We can continue. In the UK, we like to give them a chance to pay all their rent up front. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a great idea. So we give them a choice of answering that question now. And the impact of asking that now is if they say they want to pay the full year rent up front, the portal asks them to pay later on, and it will calculate the right amount for them. I'll say first instalment, however, for this person. And immediately we see the roommate profile. Now this is roommate matching. They have a chance to opt in. So if they're ticked down here, they will be searchable by other applicants. They can write a description about themselves here, give themselves an online name. So if they're concerned about giving out their personal name, they can change that and be called whatever they like. So they might enter a description saying they're fun to be with and they like loud music, whatever. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to take the tick out because I don't want students to try and match rooms with myself, and continue. They also now get a chance to answer some preference questions, so they're just describing a little bit about themselves. Now this list is optional. They can skip past it if they don't want to be using this kind of feature. However, we have found quite a lot of students really quite like this. The idea of being able to find people that match their profile, because it gives them a chance to sort of join the CLV community early, and not just be thrown in at the deep end. They know who they're going to live with in advance. They know they're likely to want to do the same sort of stuff. So you can drag these around, select whether you're quiet or outgoing, etc., etc. None of these restrict which rooms they can use. It's more of a way of finding other flatmates. And if we hit save and continue, it's now listing me a few recommended flatmates that have a similar profile to how I've completed it. However, I could then go and search by details. I could search for a very specific person if I had a friend that I knew I wanted to stay with, regardless of profile, or I can search by profile and say, show me all the people that I really like to get up in the morning. You might not get any results, so there's a few. And there off it goes, and you can then message these people and say, hey, do you want to cohabit with myself? You might be able to view a bit of their profile as well, see their age, the agenda. This is why it's important that they opt in. They're not just on here whether they like it or not. You have to tick that box to say, I'd like to be searched for. So that's roommate matching, very briefly, I know. I'll continue past it. And we have a special requirements field here where an applicant could give us some additional information that is outside of anything else we've asked them. And an option to enter promotional code as well if we've advertised a particular offer and they just have to enter a code during the application process to get that offer. This is where they would do it. And then we hit just a summary page to say thank you for your application, etc. Now in the UK we have a quite specific requirement, and that's that we can't offer rooms to people that haven't been approved at the university to be studying. So whilst that's obviously not going to be the case in all the villages, even in the UK in the future, it certainly is a requirement at the moment for us. So they actually get held at this point, and they can't carry on to this point 11 here and sign an agreement. It's probably a similar process to your online checking for credit history or criminal record checking, that you may not want them to just automatically pay their rent and get signed up if you haven't had a chance to do that online check. So I'm going to assume that this gentleman is free to go in and carry on. So I'll just go into StarRez and click on his application, which should be showing up by now if I've got the right record. Clearly I haven't. Let's see if I can find myself. Let's see who it is that I've applied with. I should be able to search for this person by phone number. Let's try that. Okay, there's the application that we put through. All I need to do is tick this box that says offer sent, and that's a way for to tell the portal that this person's allowed to continue. I tick that, and we would send them an email. I can cover how we would send that email later on. But if I go back in now, with a bit of luck, I can sign my contract and carry on. Okay, actually, the first thing I'll do is find a room. So where we've got roommate matching, we also have online room selection. You can choose which room you want to stay in, as long as you meet the criteria for that room. So online room selection is really a way of giving the students some choice and some control over the process, but it also has quite big benefits to us in terms of the amount of resource we have to have in order to do leasing. Because they're doing the actual room selection themselves, we don't have to create bookings, we don't have to worry about any of that. The system will be doing it for them based on the room they pick. So let's go in, I'd say room search. They can pick from the available room types for the village, or they could pick a more general location they want to stay in. They could say I want single-sex accommodation or a quiet floor. If we hit search, just on this location, we should see a big long list of rooms now, because I haven't been very specific. And then from that point, I can literally go, okay, I'm interested in that flat, view a bit of information on the flat, view if there's anybody else currently allocated in there. And then we can click through to that flat and select which actual bed we'd like to stay in. So I'll pick the deluxe room here, and I'll reserve that for myself. And it tells me now I'm reserved. There's this chap called Philip C that's in another flat, but all I can see about him is his screen name. I can't see his personal details because he may not have opted in. But I can see I have got some flatmates. And then we continue. So now I've picked my room. The portal can draw up a contract. It knows how much the weekly rate should be. It knows how long the contract's for. It knows all my personal details. It's all merged onto the screen for them. We have extra links here for all the terms and conditions that they should be reading. And in order to confirm that they've done this, they have to tick these 3 boxes to say they've read those 3 important documents. They can't just click through and say, next and agree to this. So that's the online lease signed. And it asks us to pay the deposit. I'm not going to do that now, but all I would normally do is just click pay now. And in this case, we get redirected to a payment provider called SagePay that we use in the UK. This could be anybody. It doesn't have to be this company. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go back and use a little tweak on here to get past it. If I tick that, portal should ignore the fact I'm supposed to pay a deposit. We'll give that a go. Okay, and immediately wants us to pay the rent. Same process. It knows that $249 is the first instalment on this particular term, on this particular room type. Well, I'm not going to pay that. Save it building up charges on my card. And what I will do is I'll go into the record and just pretend it's been paid. So let's assume that I went to the desk and paid this. I could literally go into StarRez, receive the fee for the application. Let's do £1 or $1. Hit save. Close that. And this time the process should then skip paying rent. Rent completed. And it moves on. We have some information on our fabulous V+ program. So the students get a bit of a sales pitch here to join up with the membership. Tells them about what they're going to get in return for the membership fee. It's literally just an information page about the V+ product. Shortly, it's deliberately placed there because the next page is our village shop. So at this point, they can then choose to buy that membership here. They could add that to their cart. They could scroll down. They might want a hoodie.